Hello traders, welcome to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to break down the markets, so the S&P 500, a little bit of Nasdaq, Dow Jones and New York Exchange, and I'm going to talk about the general outlook of the global economy and the US. So I will start with the fundamentals. Just give a quick summary about the U.S. economy landscape. So the GDP contraction. So the U.S. economy has experienced a contraction of 0.2% on the quarter one of 2025. So marking this first decline in 3 years, this downturn is attributed to a surge in imports ahead of anticipation tariffs and a reduction in the government spending. So we have a rising of unemployment. Jobless claims have reached 247,000, the highest in 8 months, indicating a cooling labor market. So major corporations like Microsoft and Starbucks have announced layoffs, reflecting the broader economy uncertainty. So the inflationary pressures, so the new tariffs introduced by the Trump administrations are projected to increase inflation by zero point 0.4 percentage points in both 2025 and 2026, this reducing the household's purchasing power. As for the global economy conditions, so we are having a slowing on the growth. So the OECD has downgraded the global growth forecast to 2.9% for the 2025, down from 3.3% in 2024. This slowdown is driven by the increase of trade barriers, tighter financial conditions, and heightened policy uncertainties. We have trade tensions, escalation protectionist policies, particularly from the US, are disrupting the global supply chains and dampening investors' confidence, posing risks to financial markets worldwide. So the implications for the US markets, we have markets volatility. The conditions of domestic economic contraction and global uncertainties is likely to contribute to the increased market volatility. So investors may exhibit cautions leading to potential fluctuations in the stock prices. So that means that we are highly likely going to see high volatility in the markets, especially at these times. So we have a sectoral shift as well. Industries heavily reliant on international trades may face headwinds due to tariffs and global economy slowdowns. So while sectors focus on domestic consumption, might increase relatively stability. So the monetary policy outlook for the US Federal Reserve stance remains a critical factor. Should economic conditions deteriorate further, the Fed may consider policy adjustments to support growth and stability markets. However, we need to wait for the interest rate release and the FOMC to come with the news and explain how the economy is behaving and if they're going to stimulate the economy or not. So if they start stimulating the economy, it means that the economy is slowing down and therefore they need to print more money so that they stimulate the economy to come back for growth. As at the time being, we are seeing a slowdown. With that said, if we go on the markets, starting with the S&P 500, we do have a contraction. We do have a drying of the volume. And now here on today, we do have a move to the upside of 50% and then a move to the downside of 0.89%. And now we are closing nearby the open. However, we are seeing higher volume today. We haven't broke this contraction pattern, but we are reacting from this resistance level, which means that we might be potentially seeing a downturn. In confluence with the economy news, we are might seeing that the market might will go even further and we might see another bearish move. However, we cannot be certain of what the markets are going to do. Therefore, we just need to be paying attention to what the markets are doing. With that said, I have turned bearish today, mostly because we are seeing price dry up and the price moving up, but is contraction with volume. With that said, we have a resistance level over here. We are seeing drying up week by week for quite a while now. But we are not seeing any upward move past this point. We have reacted on Tuesday, 20 May. We've reacted on 29th of May, and now we are reacting today. If this trend line and contraction ascending wedge breaks down, we're most likely going to see either a deeper pullback or we are going to see a bearish move, to which we might see for a few months, if not even further. As it is at the time being, as I've written down this today, hardly any movement for 2 days, and general market is turning bearish, at least in my opinion. That doesn't mean that it is what's happening with the markets, because even though sometimes the economy or the fundamentals of the global economy are bearish, that doesn't mean that the general market is going to react that way, because at the end of the day, investors are the ones that move the market. So the market, in order for it to move up or down, there must be a buyer and a seller. However, for example, if everyone starts selling and there's no buyers, the move downwards is going to be massively. And that, as it is at the time being, we are seeing drying up on the price. We are seeing contractions. The price could very well go higher and then move down, or even go higher and continue higher. We never know what the market is doing. But as it is at the time being, I'm jumping a little bit the gun, but I do believe that the market will at least have a deeper pullback, probably to about the 5600 price, and might go back up. However, as the economy and the fundamentals are saying, we might see a deeper pullback and might be retracting for quite a while, meaning that we might be entering on the bearish market. With that said, I might be jumping the gun a little bit. Let me just see NASDAQ as well. We have higher volume after hitting this resistance area. We have an ascending wedge channel, but after hitting this resistance area at 21,900, we are moving downwards with volume, to which to me might possibly indicate that we might break this trend line and a pattern, might react to this support area, or might break the support area, react to that support area, and then form this as a resistance and continue downwards. Dow Jones, basically the same thing, reacting to this resistance area 3 times. So we have a resistance here. We have a resistance on 19 and 20 of May, and we have a resistance there today. So we have hardly any move to the upside, but now we might break this trend line, might react to support, and then continue downwards. So that's my overview across the general markets or the indexes. If we go to Bitcoin, just to my perspective about Bitcoin, we have broken the trend line of the uptrend line, and we are moving massively to the downside. To me, what that is telling me is that the general market is bearish, and therefore people are basically taking the money out of their investments, especially risky investments. So, stocks are not massively risky. They're mostly stable. However, there's still a quantity of risk around them. And therefore, I do believe, because general people are thinking that the price will be crashing down from now on, people are taking the money out from the stock markets in order for the market to breathe, because the general economy of global economy, especially the US and all the tariffs going on, are, in my opinion, I believe that are pushing the markets down, because no one wants to do business when the tariffs are too high. And therefore, as I've said before, he's making a global supply chains dampening, and investors' confidence are going lower. So this is my opinion on the general market. With that said, I will go through some of my stocks. I've already spent 10 minutes on this, but I'll go through some of my stocks. So basically, what I have done is that I took all of my long positions. I took either profit or loss. For example, here I probably broke even in between these two, because it's mostly broke even on that. So I'm probably a bit on profit on BLX. On XL, I'm on profit. Uber, a bit profit. Vert, profit. VLGEA, profit. TW, profit. BSX, got a loss. CPRX, got a little profit. BZ, a little bit profit. Shopify, a bit of loss. And KGC, a bit of loss. So I took all my trades of buying positions because, in my opinion, the market is going to go bearish with all the fundamentals and the technicals that I'm reading from the charts. To which, at the same time, it's my portfolios. But what I am saying here is that I am putting money where my mouth is. So if I'm saying, or if I say that I believe that the market is going to go bearish, that means that I'm putting or betting my money on it. To which, at the end of the day, trading is like that. I could lose, the money. I'm still following my strategy, so I could lose the money, and that is what it is. It's part of the trading. With that said, I took my profits, and that's it. The explanation for taking profits is that I do believe that the general market is going to go bearish. Therefore, what I have done is took profits and turned bearish on a few stocks, to which I think were the most reliable according to the volume for today on those stocks, to which I'll go through them. So I got Pilotons, to which volume has dried up. It's broken the trend line previously, but if we adjust the trend line, give me a second. So if we adjust the trend line, it has reacted to this resistance area with low volume, and now it's breaking down massively with volume. So I do believe that Pilotons will go low. And with that said, I'm moving my alarm there. Actually, alerts. I'll do that in a minute. I got WPM, to which has been overextended from the 10 EMA at just shy of 10%, but it has been at 14%. And it has moved out of the Pullinger bands and down with volume, making a complete engulfing candle. And therefore, I set up another trade. I got Relax PLC, to which has moved down impulsively with high volume, came up and contracted with a slight bit of volume, but now it has broken down from this ascending wedge with volume. Therefore, I do believe that this stock is going to go lower. Got Tesla, to which has a massive move today after breaking the trend line, to which that could be a position yesterday. However, I wasn't bearish yesterday, but I am bearish today, and therefore I put an entry here because of the amount of volume that it has came in, plus all the news that comes around with Tesla and Trump fighting. We got mirrors, to which what we got overextended from the 10 EMA on the weekly, has been at 28%, 29, almost 30, after being out of the Bollinger Bands, to which it means that the price is overextended. Not only that, we did have a 15% overextended from the daily, and now we are back in to the Bollinger Bands with volume yesterday with hardly any move. But if you do take account that we were outside the Bollinger Bands, open up at 7% lower and close just shy 8%. And now we do have a little bit lower volume today, However, we're still going down and it is still overextended from the weekly EMA. Therefore, I do believe that the price has movement to the downside. We are 15% overextended from the 10 EMA on the weekly. Then we have Sienna, to which we do have a pattern. Excuse me. With massive amount of volume, breakdown of an ascending channel, touching a resistance area. So that's multiple confluences together with massive volume, which means that highly likely this stock is going to continue to go lower. We got AGM, to which you move impulsively up, impulsively down, compressed with high amounts of volume, but hardly any movement. And then today has touched the resistance area with a high amount of volume, to which to me means that the price is going to go lower. We do have X, to which is overextended from the 10 EMA on the weekly by 14%. Now we have lower volume or volume drying up, an ascending, I'll say an ascending wedge, and broken down today with volume, which gives me enough reasons to get into this stock. We got TTC, to which it did have moved up, touch a resistance area, support here, resistance there, resistance there, resistance there, high volume, breakdown from the symmetrical triangle. We got Futu, to which I was bullish, and now I am bearish because the price has created a resistance. It has touched one, twice with volume, and 3 times, forming a piercing candlestick pattern with slightly higher volume than yesterday. Therefore, gives me enough reasons to enter a trade as well. And we got AGG, AG or AJG, to which it has done a triple top, or we call it a quadruple, as moving possibly up. Price has been drying up. We did have volume to the upside, but no breakout from this 350 area. With that said, the price has broken down yesterday with volume, and today another strong bearish move with slightly lower volume. But to me, I have enough reasons to enter a trade. And that's all my trades for today. With that said, I do believe that the general market is bearish and highly likely is going to possibly go even lower tomorrow, especially if we break this trend line. And we do have some news tomorrow. We have non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. So we will see how those fundamental news will come out and the market will react. So with that said, guys, if you have watched up until this far, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a likes and subscribe. And thank you for watching. See you next time.